Morning students. Now I am going to teach the lesson reproduction in plants, asexual and sexual reproduction. I hope that you all already studied about reproduction in lower classes. Reproduction. Reproduction is a biological process in which an individual produces another individual of its own type. What is meant by reproduction? It is a biological process in which an individual produces another individual of its own type. For example, a mango tree produces another mango tree. A neem tree produces another neem tree. So, reproduction is a fundamental feature of all known life. Each organism exists as a result of reproduction. Like other biological process, reproduction is also one of the essential feature of all living things. If suppose there is no reproduction takes place for several years, what will happen? The species will disappear from the earth. So reproduction is a vital process for the existence of a species, and it brings changes through variation. So this variations leads to formation of new useful character which is used for the survival of the offsprings. All of you know what is offsprings. Offsprings means young ones. Next, the importance of plant reproduction. Plant reproduction is not only useful for its own survival and also for continuation and existence of other organisms, because all other organisms either directly or indirectly depends upon plants. It plays an important role in evolution. Evolution means gradual development of an organism from a simpler to more complex. In this lesson, you are going to learn a detailed study about reproduction in plants. So basically, reproduction is divided into two major categories: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Reproduction is divided into two major categories. One is asexual reproduction, another one is sexual reproduction. First, asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, the new individuals are produced without the fusion of gametes, that is, without the fusion of sperm and the egg. In sexual reproduction, the new individuals are produced by the fusion of gametes. Here, the fusion of sperm and the egg produces zygote. The zygote then later develop into an embryo. Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction occurs without the involvement of gametes. That is, there is no fusion of sperm and egg takes place. Mostly, all the individuals produced by asexual reproductions are morphologically and genetically identical. They are called as clones. In 10th standard, you all studied about clones. Is it what is meant by clone? A clone are exact carbon copy of a single parent. So asexual reproduction occur without the involvement of gametes. Here there is no fusion of sperm and egg. Mostly all the individuals produced by asexual reproduction are morphologically and genetically identical. Do all you know what is morphology? Morphology means the external appearance of an organism, and genetically the genetic characteristics of an organism is also identical. So they are called as clones. So clones are exact carbon copy of a single parent. That is, the young ones which are produced by the asexual reproduction shows familiar character of their own parents. How the young ones are? They are familiar characters of their own parents. Asexual reproduction needs only one parent because there is no fusion of gametes occur. Asexual reproduction occur in both lower plants and also in higher plants. Asexual reproduction occurs both in lower plants and also in higher plants. It takes place in lower plants, fungi and animals. It takes place in lower plants, fungi and animals. Asexual reproduction takes place by several methods such as formation of gonidia, budding, fragmentation, production of gem makeup, regeneration, binary fission. Formation of gonidia. So the gonidia are the asexual spherical non-motile spores produced by some fungi. So gonidia are asexual spherical non-motile spores produced by some fungi. What does mean by non-motile? Non-motile means the structure which lacks the locomotory organ. That is, it does not show any movement. Example, penicillium and aspergillus. What is gonidia? The gonidia are asexual spherical non-motile spores produced by some fungi. The gonidia are born on a gonidiospore, where the gonidias are present on the gonidiospore. Example, penicillium and aspergillus. Then next, budding. The budding is another type of asexual reproduction. It means a small outgrowth is developed on parent cell which gets separated from the parent and becomes a new individual. Example, yeast and hydra. What does mean by budding? A budding means a small outgrowth is developed on parent cell which gets separated from the parent and become a new individual. Examples are yeast and hydra. The next, fragmentation. In fragmentation method, the parent cells get divided into several small segments. Then each segment grows into a new plant. What is fragmentation? The fragmentation is a method in which the parent plant get divided into several small segments, several fragments. Each fragments grows into a new individual. Example, algae, spirogyra. What is the example for fragmentation? Spirogyra, algae. What is meant by fragmentation? The fragmentation is a method in which a parent cell get divided into several small segments. Each segment grows into a new individual. The example is algae, spirogyra. The next, production of gem makeup. Example, Markensia. A small cup-shaped structure produced in the thallus. When it attains maturity, the gem makeup detached out from their parent thallus and develop into a new plant. Example, Markensia bryophyta. So what does mean by gem makeup? A cup-shaped structure produced in the thallus. When it attains maturity, the gem makeup detached out from their parent thallus and develops into a new plant. Example, Markensia bryophyta. Another method is regeneration. It occurs in planaria. The body of the organism is cut into several pieces. Each piece develops into a new individual. What does mean by regeneration? The body of the organism is cut into several pieces. Each piece has the ability to develop into a new individual. Example, planaria. The next, binary fission. The binary fission occurs in a bacteria. Here, a single cell is divided into two daughter cells. So what does mean by binary fission? The binary fission occurs in bacteria. A single cell is divided into two daughter cells. Asexual reproduction in higher plants. Higher plants reproduce asexually by vegetative propagation. Vegetative reproduction. What are vegetative part of the plant? The vegetative part of the plants are root, stem and leaves. If this part of the plant are involved for the reproduction of a new plants are called as vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction takes place by both naturally and also artificially. Natural method of vegetative reproduction. So the natural method of vegetative reproduction takes place by the formation of buds. The buds is a developing shoot system. In some plants, the buds develops from the root, stem, leaf. These buds grows into a new plants when the bud attains full growth and gets separated from the parent and develops into a new plants. The plant part involved in vegetative reproductions are used for pollination and also storage. Pollination means the ability of a plant to survive from one growing season to the next. For example, ginger and banana. The plant during unfavorable condition, the aerial part of the plant get died, but the underground part remain viable. On the reach of favorable condition, once again it produces new aerial shoot. It is called as pollination. In some plants, the root stem are used for the storage of reserve food materials. The vegetative reproductive structure are used for vegetative propagation are called as reproductive propagules or diaspores. What are called diaspores? The vegetative reproductive structure which are used for reproduction are called reproductive propagules or diaspore. Vegetative reproduction in root. In some plants, the roots develops adventitious buds. This adventitious buds develops into a new plant. Example, Morea. Common name of Morea is curry plant. It is commonly called a curryvepalai. So adventitious buds, the bud occurs other than the normal position. Normally, the buds occurs in the axil of the leaf, tip of the stem or apex, but these buds are develops from the root or leaf, so they are called as adventitious buds. In Ipomia batatas, commonly called as sweet potato, in Tamil it is called as vallikirangu, the tuberous adventitious roots develops buds and the buds grows into a new plant and it also used to store food materials. That what is tuberous root? The tuberous roots are underground root modification. They are fleshy and do not have a definite shape. So what does mean by tuberous root? The underground root modification. They are fleshy and do not have a definite shapes. Vegetative reproduction of stem. Vegetative reproduction of the stem occurs by the formation of axillary buds from the nodes of rhizomes and eyes of tuber. The nodes are the region where the leaf is attached to the stem. Rhizomes and tubers are the underground modification. The terminal buds develop from the underroot stem gives rise to a new plant. In rhizome, example Gingiber officinalis, ginger. Calm, example Colocasia karanaikirangu. Pulp, allium cepa, onion and lilium, garlic. Tuber, example Solanum tuberosum, potato. In potato plants, the axillary buds are developed from the eyes of a tuber. These buds are develops into a new individual. Vegetative reproduction in leaves. Vegetative reproduction in leaves takes place by adventitious buds developed from their leaves. When they are separated from their parent plant, they grow into a new individual. Example, Bryophyllum. The leaves of Bryophyllum is succulent and notched. Notched means at the edges it have a cut. From that cut, a new plant arises. The adventitious buds which are developed from the notches are called as epiphyllous bud. Epiphyllous bud means the bud which is developed at the notch of the leaf. Example, Bryophyllum. These adventitious buds falls into a suitable substratum. It develops into a new individual. Once again, we recalls all the point what you learned today. Reproduction is a biological process in which an individual produces another individual of its own type. basically, reproduction is divided into asexual and sexual reproduction. The individuals which are formed by the method of asexual reproductions are morphologically and genetically identical or called as clones. The reproduction asexually in higher plants takes place by vegetative propagation method.